Yo, my name is Chris. I've been following you really since like Instagram started. I think it was like 4 years ago. A while back. You just started doing PR. I just thought that was I'm an artist myself. So actually my band right now, we do like rock music. So we got like a rock band. I'm here with a group project. Hey.
Oh, I'm De'Havia.
Okay, sure.
I'm a fan of your music and cool.
What's up? All right. Where you already from?
I'm from Nashville.
I'm from Florida. We're all from the South, honestly.
Yeah, I'm from Dallas, Texas.
So you know we were bumping you like into that when we were like kids and stuff. Yeah. So like, what attracted you?
All the way over. I used to go to like Pensacola, Florida.
I'm from Pensacola.
Real?
Yes.
And Roy Jones had this club out there, man. They used to go like shooting everything, man.
You'll see.
I got a lot of
So what attracted you to investing, or how'd you get into it?
What's your name, brother?
I used to what got me into investing, I started advising at first, and then one of the companies I advised for got bought by Google, and then after that, it's like, I was going to every tech conference I could to get as much information as I could. And I just liked it, man. I just always felt like I was a tech entrepreneur in a rapper's frame, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it was for me, but you know, I love it.
Did you ever face any challenges since you were like a rapper at first, like when you're like trying to break into the industry?
I think it was just people probably not thinking I was serious, or you know, they're kind of confused. They're like, what is a rapper doing here? It's a lot of that, you know. Even to this day, I still get some of that. But at the end of the day, man, when you open your mouth and you start talking like you know something, then people they wake up a little bit, you know.
Why did you decide to switch from music to investing?
Well, actually,
or you still do
that's
music?
a misconception out there. People think that I just like left music. I did. You know?
Okay.
But because I do so much tech investing and tech stuff nowadays, it's the focus, and people kind of say that, oh, he left rap to do this. But you know, I understand rap is the roots for me. That's what you know got me this notoriety and attention. So, and I do have passion for music. But right now, I just feel like whenever you want to be successful in something, you have to have tunnel vision, you know? And you can't just do all these different things because you're never going to be equally successful in all of them. So in order to be successful, you have to focus. So I'm trying to have tunnel vision on the tech stuff right now in order to be successful. So it's just the way it works. If you put out an album or a song, you have to go to radio stations, you got to go promote, you got to have tunnel vision and focus on that thing. So I've never seen a scenario where you could be, you know, everybody can't be Bo Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Doing all sports and being good. Like, it's just, we're not wired like that. So, you know, that's the reason why I'm just focusing on tech stuff right now.
You had an MTV Cribs, right?
No.
You didn't?
They asked me a bunch of times. I never.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't too, because now you see them MTV Cribs, you be like, it's just like dated and like, nah, man, that ain't where it's at. I ain't trying to push that stuff, you know.
Yeah, the bodyguard is where it's at, man.
So what industry do you like focus on, like when it comes to technology, like biotech, music, or no industry?
Yeah, no. I don't have a specific thesis. I try to be open-minded and listen to it all because you never know, you know. And then also, there's a lot of value in aligning with people that you can learn from. You know, you might not know anything about, you know, biotech, but you can learn a lot. And then the next time a biotech company comes, you're more informed. So I be open-minded. I want information, all of it, Bitcoin, whatever it is, cryptocurrencies. Tell me, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Just about to say that,
you know.
So, as a celebrity angel investor, is it hard for like startup founders to reach you? Or do they feel like it's hard to reach you?
First of all, I don't consider myself a celebrity.
Well, they might, yeah.
Nah, I don't think it's hard. Like, look at me right here talking to y'all.
Yeah.
You see me all the time at events. One body walk up to me. People email me all the time. You know, like my fans, a real fan, you ask them my email address, they'll tell you. A lot of them will tell you that I responded to them in the email. So I've always been like that. Even in my music career, they was able to go to my website, get my email me, and get a response. Like, now it's a little bit tougher now.
Yeah.
There's so much, you know, emails and tech people and artists and stuff, but I don't think it's that hard to get in touch with me.
Cool. Thanks.
Maybe on my Instagram DMs and Twitter so much. It's like, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's something that makes sense, you know.
Are you open to like traveling to different schools and stuff just to speak on your experience within the tech world?
Yeah, occasionally. I take some time, but honestly, man, it's like there's only so much you can do, you know? Because again, I'm on a mission to be, you know, founder, have my own dreams in the tech world, so you gotta have tunnel vision. If I sit there and go out and talk to everybody about everything and try to motivate them, then I lose sight of what I'm trying to do. So I try to like pick and choose every now and then to go to, you know, when it makes sense. You know? And most importantly, I'm trying to make some destination a place where I can put all these thoughts so that anybody can just consume it. That's what I think is missing. You know, people want the information, they'll take it however, give it to them as long as I give it to them. So right now it's kind of quiet.
Thank you.
Everybody's on podcast. I can't even do that.
Female entrepreneurs and immigrant entrepreneurs. But as we told, it became super evident that the real scarcity is the lack of diverse fund managers. Right? So we need more of us in charge of allocating the resources. And that is really the problem that I feel there's not nearly enough attention being placed on. And so the fact that you guys are all out here, you know, our body, you want to get in the space, bright young minds, like this is when it starts. And my partners who are on the way down here right now, we made a decision as a firm, hey look, we want to proactively loop all you guys in and, you know, create opportunities to you know, have meaningful work for you guys to get involved in and actually learn, because I mean, this shit is hard. Like, it's hard, it's a lot of looking at deals. There's a lot of, and we can get into the questions, but there's a lot of it that is like the numbers. And in fact, my partner Jerry and a few of the guys that are coming through are more number based. But then there's a lot of it also that is more kind of intuition driven, right? So for me, and every investor kind of has their own different approach, but for me, it's always intuition first, and then I'll use the numbers to back that up. So with that said, yo Jerry, you want to join me up here?
Yeah, I'll be right there.
So we want to take as many questions as you guys got. There's only like a 30-minute break. So I don't know if who's got a question about the rapid fire.
I got a question.
All right,
so what are some of the red, like when you talking about intuition, what are some of the red flags that you see, like, hey, this might not be an investment opportunity?
Okay. So when it comes to intuition, come up here. These are my partners on Reed, and this is Jerry. This is HBCU venture student team, venture, and we're just doing a rapid fire Q&A for 30 minutes, right? And we also got some other folks in the crowd. The first question was, what are some red flags? Because I told them, yo, some of it is intuition, some of it is numbers based. So what are some of the red flags when it comes to like on the intuition side? And we can each kind of go into it. I don't know, you guys got some thoughts? Yeah.
I can start with one. One big red flag is if a founder is not full time. I think Michael Simon was talking about this before, but if somebody's not 100% in, why would you put your money into that? You want them to be fully committed, making sure that they're executing. The biggest thing is it's already hard to be an entrepreneur if you're full time. So if you're only doing it part time, it's going to be even that much harder. Another quick thing to that point is if the founders kind of by themselves. Some people can do it, but it's much harder to run a business if you're a solo founder. And so now, from experience, we're only focusing on companies that have a strong kind of management team.
Yeah, I would say more on the quantitative side, like not understanding your business. And so like when you ask a founder, like, hey, how many customers you have last year? What was your revenue? What's your traction? What's your burn rates? How much money are you spending on a monthly basis? Like things that are just like very high level, and a lot of times the founder says, oh, like my CFO knows that, or somebody else. It's like, no, like you're the CEO, like you need to know at the beginning of the business, like how the business is tracking, because you should be making your decisions based on that data.
Right.
So that's like, for me, that's just like a non-starter. Like you don't understand your profit, your revenue, your customers, and you're relying on somebody else to like get your business at this level. That's just not, it's not a good start.
And then just for some context, like, so we are, you know, Harlem Capital, we've made 6 investments. So we're, you know, we're not Kapor Capital that's been around for, you know, 10, 20 years. Like, we're some young cats that we came together and we're like, yo, can we pool our capital? Like, it's literally the group of you guys saying like, yo, I got a G, who's got a G? And like, you pool your capital. And one thing that I've learned is it's not so much about the scale of the investment or what have you when you start. It's more so, irrespective of the scale, it's getting in the process of doing it. So just you guys getting into the mental space of looking at companies, of evaluating founders, of like all of a sudden, as time goes on, you start kind of internalizing experientially what it feels like when you speak to someone that's fully committed. What it feels like when you speak to a company that's on the rise, right? Like this is one of our portfolio companies right here. It's an honor for us to see like the incredible team that De'Havia is, combine all these minds from all across the country. So you start getting in front of all these opportunities, and so I want to encourage you guys to get started.
I was just curious.
We'll hit you next.
I was just curious to know. I have a brand, Mess in a Bottle. So we put messages on T-shirts and they come packaged in a reusable bottle. We're growing organically already, and so we're in the process now where we're going into the tech space where we are trying to acquire like Mess in a Bottle vending machines. I'm just wondering, like, should I let the process happen where we're already expanding, things are growing organically and it's happening? Should I seek investment? I'm like, so, but I know I need the capital to really expand to the next level of my business. So how do you know? Do you let it organically grow and do it yourself as the business owner, or do you really take that chance and, seek outside investment?
I think Michael put it perfectly. Like you don't want to scale into your needs to scale, and you also don't want to scale into your product is like the market is spoken, right? Your customers are spoken, the unit economics makes sense, because if you're not making money on a per unit basis and you scale that, you're just going to continue to lose more money. So really understanding, like, am I at the point where I have a very solid foundation, solid business, my customers, I have enough. He said 10 is like your first, you have 10, 100 really loyal customers who are kind of doing the marketing for you. And then like that's when the moment you can say like, okay, maybe I need more outside capital. And as you talk to other investors, people are going to give you that feedback, right? They're going to say, hey, like I think this is a flaw. I think it's really hard to scale this way. Like what if you pivot this way? How's your marketing strategy? So like I think talking to people will also help you understand, like, are you at that point where it's kind of worth it? Because like giving up equity and not being your own boss is a disadvantage as an entrepreneur. It's something
scary.
Like it's a really good quote. Like somebody said, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs for 3 reasons. They want to make more money. 99% of startups fail, so you're probably not going to make more money, right? They want to be their own boss. If you're a solo entrepreneur, you don't want to scale your business, you'll be your own boss. But if you take VC money, you're not going to be your own boss. And you want to have better lifestyle, right? You want to like not have somebody determine your hours. If you're a founder, you're going to work a lot more hours,
Exactly.
right? So if you're doing a startup for those 3 reasons, you're probably going to fail, right? The reason you should do a startup is because you want to change the world. You believe that your product is the product that's going to help a need, and so all those other factors like don't matter until I think once you kind of know that like this is the product, I think it's going to change the world. Then like you're like, okay, I'm ready to take that risk. Like let me go get some capital.
Sometimes though, changing the world just means changing your world, right? Like Jay has a line. He goes, and there's much bigger issues in the world I know, but first I got to take care of the world I know, right? And like for me, my first win was selling a dry cleaner. Who gives a shit? I sold a dry cleaner, like it's not a huge deal, but it changed my whole world. It changed my confidence. It was like, all right, cool, I know I could do that. I shook that off, like, all right, what can I do next? Then I set out to do an incubator. And then I was in a position where I was able to impact more lives. And then over time, that has now transformed and has evolved into doing venture. So, I do believe that when, to create a company that goes out to impact billions of people, it takes that incredible amount of passion. But sometimes you just need to start with, with what's in front of you and do the best you can with what you got. You just get really focused on making sure that that there's a small amount of people that love your product. And then from there, we can talk about raising money. And if you want to have that discussion, we're here for everyone, right? info@harlem.capital. That email is a shared email. That hit every single one of our inboxes.
I do want to add real quick to that. I think it's important learning for everybody. Anytime you're making a big business decision like that, so should I finance, should I fundraise, should I not, make sure to get a variety of opinions, right? There's never a right answer, a perfect right answer in every scenario. You want to do what's best for you, and you want to take every piece of advice you get with a grain of salt.
Right.
There's people that have raised too much money and it's blown up their business. People that haven't raised enough money or were never able to grow and see their potential. So think about that.
Because we're exceeding like what I can handle at this point.
Yeah.
So that's why, I'm just trying to decide what to do next.
Yeah, just think about it. There's several avenues of financing. Like you can go and raise VC money. You can also potentially raise debt notes, right? And even if you're gonna raise equity, you can go to an institution or you can go to friends and family first. Maybe if you only need $50K, you rather scrape together with friends and family.
That's what
give
I've
you
been
more
doing.
leeway. You may not need the money back in 10 years. It won't be riding you. Also, fundraising is a very time-intensive process. So like anything you're doing now at your business, it may take 2 or 3x that if you're also fundraising. So just keep that in mind and get some good opinions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right here.
First off, thank you, gentlemen, for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
My name is Kwame Barr, the CEO of co-founder of third-party real marketplace that connects Airbnb hosts. View is a third-party real marketplace that connects Airbnb hosts with local cleaners to facilitate hotel-grade turnovers.
Okay.
And we've been building a lot of traction, collected $72,000 revenue to date, bootstrapped the entire way.
Congrats, bro.
To where I'm actually soliciting investment.
Okay.
I actually just sat down with a meeting with Flying Fish VC in Seattle. I'm
Cool, man.
with Madrona tomorrow.
Good for you, brother.
Now, I'm at the point where I want to know what were some of the things that you guys use to best assess VCs. What is like the good VC versus the bad VC? And I also want to share.
That's one thing. Like a lot of when we look at founders, we're doing reference checks on you guys, right? So like usually it's a very small world. So go on LinkedIn, you can find people. You should do the same thing for VC investors. Like you should figure out you gotta know what founders are not trying to know these VCs and like have them do like reference checks. Like, hey, if I get this money, is it going to be just money? Because a lot of VCs are just money, right? Or is it going to be resources? They're going to actually like help me build my product, or they're going to take my phone call once a month. So you want to really know that, and like having a VC tell you that is very different than having somebody who's actually worked with the VC. Because we're selling you just like you're selling us, right? And so I think like when you're on the sell side, you gotta like figure out how to get to the other side and figure out what's the true positioning of this VC.
One thing I will add, I'll add there is when I started in this game, I thought that money was the key. And then once you jump into the space, you realize there's a lot of idle money. A lot of idle money. So there's a lot of idle money, right? But so that's what we call dumb money, right? But you can be aligned with smart money. That, per what Henri was saying, there's a lot of value add per dollar. So when you get an investment for us, for example, we're rolling our sleeves up. JT and Henri, they hold down the financial analysis. Like if one of our portfolio companies needs some type of help with their product because they're rolling out a new line and they want to do some unit economics, and we tap their specialty. Brandon and I are more media oriented, so we can help you promote the product and so forth. So as you're thinking through it, for instance, me, I had a cleaning business. That was my first business. So this is potentially good strategic value add, match right here. Because I know the business, I work with hotels, I work with enterprise clients on the cleaning side specifically, so I can help you think through the business. So I'd rather take a 25K check from me than a 25K check from someone who is a chiropractor and is just looking to invest in a startup so he can talk about it at a cocktail party.
So that also begs the question, what stage do you guys usually invest in? Early stage?
Early stage.
Seed Series A.
Yeah. Cool. Some back up.
Hi, I'm from LA.
Hey, okay.
One of the founders of Black Book LA, basically a lifestyle agency in LA. We basically provide, a guide to all of the events that are happening for Black millennials and connecting with Black businesses. And I also work full time in Macro, which is one of the investment funds.
Yep.
And so my question is, thank you. So my question is how does one? You were mentioning if someone isn't full time, seriously. Do you have any advice for people who, like me, are part-time and trying to figure out when and how to make that leap?
Yeah, so I think there's a balance. I think we started this when we had jobs.
They had jobs. Let's be clear about that.
It's extremely beneficial because I think the benefit of having a job while you're doing this, it allows you to be risky, right? Because now you're making business decisions for the business and not to put food on your plate. Yeah. I think when you have to start making business decisions to put food on your plate, you're not going to think long-term. I think in the beginning, it's actually really beneficial to have a job that's helping you pay the bills and then doing the side hustle. I think for me, we went to business, we're a business now, so it kind of helps. But I knew where it got to the point where I was at work every day for 4 hours, all I'm thinking about is business. I'm going into the office to do my own work, and it's just you just feel like you're not meant to be there. You get to this point where you just can't keep fooling yourself. The money and the salary and the 401k isn't enough. You just realize that this is the point where I just have to do it. But I think having a job is nothing wrong with it. I think once you get to that point where that job just becomes really overwhelming, you're not satisfied in life. But until you're at that point, you don't feel like you're obligated. Use that, have somebody pay you to start your own business.
So I'll add to that here, because before I became an entrepreneur, I was a doorman, right? So by no means a luxurious job. For me, right, you start as a side hustle. It's important. It's actually an advantage in a way because you have less time, so you got to make sure that time is efficient. And so as you have the side hustle, you nourish the side hustle, and it's growing and it's growing, and you will eventually get to the point where it costs you more money to stay at your job.
Oh, time.
When it costs, because I found myself at my job, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo, I actually cannot be here because I have a business to run. That's why I dropped out of school. I'm not supporting that in any way. But that's why I dropped out of school, and that's why I left my job, because at some point it felt right. And so nourish that side hustle until it costs you money, and it needs to become your core hustle.
And I want to chime in really quickly. I feel like we're trying to teach ourselves a little bit, but it's nuanced. So for you, it may be better. You may be better off by continuing your full-time job as long as you can. But from the investor's perspective, if you put yourself in our shoes, we may not want to take that risk. And the one thing to keep in mind is that we're going to be looking at hundreds of deals. And if we see a company, if all things being equal, there's somebody who's full-time, somebody who's not, we'll probably choose the full-time person.
Right.
But that said, you got to do what's best for you. And if you have like children or a mortgage or whatever, you don't want to do anything that's not for you. But you want to make sure that you're just able to be your best. Sometimes that means having a full-time job longer than.
Guys, I want to take a huge picture with all of us. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So, okay, let's do it with the